So this is a dream vlog. I've had some pretty significant weird dreams before that were really powerful, and this is another like dream vlog. So I was living in like a frat house type situation. It was different. It looked more like to my awake self it looked more like a barn. But I forget like the major dramas going on, but it was like quite a social drama. There was something I brought or something I was doing that brought notoriety, and it was like it was like a mid-level of fame. And then I moved, and I was in like basically like a double wide prefabricated house in a cool neighborhood. And I remember I liked it. I was like, this is actually nice. And there, one repeating theme in the dream was like this stick. There was this really thin, light, wispy stick that was like, that had a big, I don't know, like stick of truth or something, that had like a big influence in the world. I never saw it do anything directly. Oh yeah, I saw something kind of crazy. There was a Twi'lek driving a big semi with a bed, and in the back of the semi bed was this large wooden Twi'lek statue, like it was laying down on its back. And she took her double-bladed her two red lightsabers, and she struck the back to light it on fire, and then she laid down in the pyre. I don't know what that was. That was something different. And there was some driving that I was doing. Like I and like someone I met at the house area were looking for food, and that was like the longest wandering quest. It was so much driving in like a smart car type thing. This dream took hours, and it was consistent. It was like the same world progressing. It wasn't really a good dream. It wasn't the worst dreams I've ever had, but it's definitely like, it was okay. Yeah. I thought the Twi'lek lighting her giant wooden art piece, like that Chinese art murals. They make like this huge mural out of a single tree. Yeah, it was like this giant bed, and she laid down on top of it while it burned. Whatever that is. I don't know. Anyway, my car started this morning, and then it was dead. It started just enough that I was able to reposition it, and then it died. And so I jumped it, and it ran, and then I went to start it after the jump, and it was like sluggish. I don't think it's the alternator, because if it was the alternator, it wouldn't run. It would like just die, because it would drain the battery and then die. But I do think that it's like something's going on with it. I'm not really sure what. I did notice my car like flickering. It does like a weird like flickering thing. So maybe it's a wire. Maybe there's like a parasitic wire problem. I do have a fire extinguisher now. I got a fire extinguisher right back here. Right there. It's supposed to be for like chemicals too. Not just a wood fire, but it's supposed to be able to handle like electronics and like battery fires and stuff. So we'll see. Yeah, it was kind of a weird dream, sleeping in. Yeah, once the sun goes down, I go to bed, and then I try to sleep all the way until the sun is like way up. So yeah, earlier I was gonna go get a new battery, but after the jump, it seemed to run again, and so I think it's just I'm not running it enough. I'm like, I reposition my car a lot with the shade, and that can drain the battery definitely. So yeah, I used to do this where I drove off of the main power. It's like if I wanted to plug in my cell phone, I would just plug it into the car battery, and I would run it to recharge my car, to recharge my battery. And that was how I basically did it without a jumper. And so there were a couple times where I got stuck and I didn't have a jump. Now I've got a jump. Now I've got the ability to jump my car anywhere, which I appreciate. That's definitely cool. That's definitely useful. Yeah, I don't have this, but I would definitely get it if you think about doing what I'm doing. Get a winch. Yeah, a winch is extremely useful because if you get stuck in mud, you can take the winch and tie it to a tree and pull yourself out, which is like really, really, really useful. It's happened a couple times to me where I needed that. Definitely always around the weather when I needed that. It was always, there was something going on that was inclemently weird. But it would have been helpful and I didn't have it. I had to use like shovels and a lot of elbow grease to do it. Yeah. Man, it's a lot better now. My living situation, amazingly better now. No weed, no alcohol, no energy drinks. Used to have a car full of trash. Any gas station I'd go to, I'd have to sneak in like a fucking big ass bag into the garbage. And now it's like I save a lot more money because when you're like an alcoholic seeking weed and energy drinks, it's like I would always have enough for like one day. And now I can like stock up and I'll have enough for a whole week. So I can just sit out here. That's why my battery dies, is I just start it to move and then the battery gets drained. But yeah, I did have a weird dream. There was like a thin, skinny, like it had a few branches. It was about this big, this stick. But I remember this thing came up like all the time. That stick was like, and my dreams are like a lot of thinking, but like sub audio. I don't like hear things directly. Yeah. So anyway. I have a new crystal bag coming in. I've gotten enough like raw loose stones that just keeping it in a cardboard box has gotten inefficient. So I've got a big duffel bag on the way, one that can open and like widen, so I can like organize them easier. Yeah, money's great. Having money is amazing. You know, everyone like fights for that. Like, I just want to have money and relax. Yeah, but who's gonna build all your shit? Who's gonna labor? Like, you want someone to make a bag and sell it for $20? Hey, I made a whole ass bag, $20. Yeah, maybe if you have a giant industrial machine pumping out a bunch of them, sure, but like by hand, nah. Ain't nobody got time for that. By hand, $400, yeah. So, what's up, Chipmunk? You waiting for some seeds? I'm not giving you any right now. Sorry. Go back to eating whatever it is you eat. Fucking licked his body. Yeah. Chipmunks are cute. I've always been a fan of them. Adorbs. Totes adorbs. Ay, 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 ay. Yeah, hopefully my car keeps running. It was doing a weird flicker. The only difference between now and then is it's gotten a lot colder, which I hope is all 1,000% of the problem. I don't think it's the alternator, because if it was, it would die. You know, it would like, it would stop running while it was running. If it's the battery, then it would have trouble starting, but it would run if you jumped it. So it's probably the battery. If anything, it's probably just the cold. Yeah, way bizarre. No, it was giving me the flicker and the whole kaboo, like after I had been driving for over an hour, and I'm like, the fuck is this? So it's like, could be another electrical issue, one of these fuckers chewing a wire. I'm looking for the seeds and I can't find any, so I'm gonna chew this fucking vein. Oh man, what a problem. I can't believe you sell cars that aren't insulated from fucking rodent chews. You kidding me? It should at least be like toxic flavored. It should at least like taste nasty as fuck. If not, like have a fucking steel mesh sleeve or something. You know, it's really worth the extra protection to take all the open wires and put like a steel mesh sleeve on it, because it's like fucking rodents. Little bastards. Anyway, yeah, that was a pretty good dream. It was pretty alright. Do I want to live? Is that my dream home? No, that wasn't my dream home. I've had other dream homes, but it was pretty okay. It's interesting what I dream when I'm listening to like affirmations. Subtle affirmations definitely change the quality of my dreams. Like definitely. There's this one like millionaire track I listen to. Every time I sleep to it, I have a dream of a big ass mansion. So it's like I'm sleeping while there's a voice talking about this stuff, and it like affects my dreams. So, what's up, babies? Yeah, I definitely want to be rich and famous. If you're a young man listening to this, go for wealth before you go for bitches. Bitches with no wealth is a nightmare. Go for wealth first. Your instinct is to go right for bitches, but it's gonna waste your time. You should go right for fucking big moolah. Unfortunately, that's what our society is right now. And the reason wealth gives you stuff is most people don't have any, and most people have to labor to have some. So if everyone's laboring to have some wealth, then it's making a bunch of shit you can buy by being wealthy. So, facts. Yeah, it'd be nice if stuff popped out of the air like magic, but you want a fucking crystal. Somebody has to go dig for that shit. Somebody has to crawl around in the ground looking. So. Yeah, it's so awesome. I ordered this like pure orange. In my dream, I saw an orange crystal with a white bottom, and I ordered this pure orange crystal. And what arrived was a pure orange crystal with a white bottom. So, yeah, unlike the picture, pretty cool. So, I've got some neat ass stuff coming in soon. I think the last of it's being delivered today, so I can't quite go in and pick it up yet. But tomorrow I'll be going in and I'll be picking up a lot of really cool stuff. Pretty excited about. I've got to go back because the place where the electrical problems started, I'm pretty much never going to go back to, because that means the critters there have gone rabid, or it's like bad luck. So I had another spot I frequently went to, but they tore that shit down. Logging is eating this area up. This area is not marked for logging at all. This area is near like a lake. So I think they're going to keep this area preserved because it's got like a natural lake near here. So, yeah. No, the roadless rule hurts me because I'm a car camper. I like driving up my car and parking in a little pull out and then camping there. What's up, buddy? I'm getting somebody Lion Kinging me. He went out on a branch to stare at me. Yeah, the corpses of fallen trees make some pretty interesting climbing for these little fuckers. They're little fuckers. They fight each other, and they're here because their ancestors are fuckers. The fucking juice. Oh my gosh. I can't believe how many people put on that silly fucking hat, the yarmulke, and then act like experts. Like, dude, have you not read your holy books? You're a fucking joke. You're literally a scam cult. It's a scammer cult, and they're like, and they think they always put themselves behind like this like leather-bound encyclopedia. No, it's exactly what like Netanyahu does and all these other like yarmulke wearing scammers do online. Is they always put themselves in front of like a leather-bound encyclopedia volume. Like, yeah, fucking right. That's for show, bitch. That's more like layer on the illusion that you're anything other than a fucking circumcising weirdo. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not a real culture. The Jewish culture is made by the government to cut everyone, and that's why it's like pumped and given rarity. And whenever people get it together about who they are, they kick them out. They've been kicked out of 109 countries. There's only like 130 countries, and it's because they just do things that are horrible. Their religion teaches them that other people are animals and it's okay to scam and manipulate them. It does. That's exactly what the World Trade Center was. Unfortunately, it's the Jews. You should not trust the Jews. I hate to say it. The Jews made us say the mustache man was right, that the Austrian painter had some truth to him when he blamed a group of people. He's like, trust me, this group of people is a problem. And everyone's like, no, you're just a racist hater. And then it turns out when you get into what that group of people is and what they do, you're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. He's like, yeah, I told you. I told you. The people crying victim were really the perpetrator, right? It's exactly like, imagine you like go up and slap a big guy and then run and scream that he's bullying you. It's exactly like that. Like, they're not really the victim, you know? It's like, yeah, it sucks. It's just, it's very ferrety. Like these fucking ferrets run around. It's very ferrety. It's exactly like this bullshit. A lot of scams. Yeah, the main villain in this game I'm playing, Nani-kun, you play as the president of the United States. It's hilarious. It's actually really good. The main villain is a ferret. He's like a ferret emperor. This story is amazing. It opens with you, the president, driving to a city as it gets hit by a nuke, and then you like teleport into a king's bedroom, and a little boy king, and you have to shoot. The king goes to the guards to ask for help, and the guards immediately then betray the king, and so you shoot the guards with a gun, which they've never seen before, which is pretty awesome. I thought it was like really cool. It was like 3 minutes of plot to get to that point. I was like, the fuck is this? This is a crazy story. Yeah, it's extremely highly rated. People give it like a 10 out of 10. It's like Nani-kun. It was just on sale. Like, it's usually $60, and I bought it for like $7. So it was really, really nice. I'm gonna play it. I play it on the. It's one of these games that does more rewards the harder the difficulty. Yeah, the harder the difficulty, the better rewards it gives you, which is pretty interesting. So I'm gonna play it on the hardest difficulty first, and I bet it still won't be as hard as Dark Souls. It'll probably be mid as hard. Talk about harder than Dark Souls. You want to know what's harder than Dark Souls? Like, really? XCOM 2. XCOM 2 is harder than Dark on Iron Mode. Yeah. XCOM 2 Iron Mode is absolutely harder than Dark Souls. 1,000,000%. Just a fucking monster of a game. Yeah, Iron Mode is no joke, because on like when you start a mission, it's randomized, so you don't really know what's going to happen. And yeah, you can oh man, it's so hard. It's so fucking hard. Yeah, War of the Chosen is the new level of hard. They give you some bonuses, but they give you some like negatives that are so severe. It's like, I can't even breathe. This shit is so awful. Yeah. Yeah, if you want to know a game harder than Elden Ring, by far it's XCOM 2. XCOM 2 on Iron Mode, not even on Legendary. XCOM 2 on Normal. Yeah, play Iron Mode on Normal. You're going to be crying. You're going to be fucking crying. Yeah. So anyway. Yeah, that's my vlog. I had like kind of weird dreams. This like dual sabered red Twi'lek had pulled a semi over on the side of the road, and she used her sabers to light this wooden thing and then laid down in it. I thought that was crazy. There's this little stick, like upright, always accompanying us that had like no correlative relationship with anything else going on in the dream. And I had moved from like a frat house to like a nice double wide in a small neighborhood. I look tired. I look like I freaking slept real deep. Yeah, I freaking conk out here. This is a spot that there's a road a couple miles away and I can hear it at night up here, but it's not that loud and I sleep so flipping good. Oh man, I sleep so good. So what I'm going to do in the tradish is I'm going to take all my crystals off. Um, and man, I can't believe how lucky I got with Charlie Kirk. There's that this dude parked in my parking spot the day before he died with a Thanos license plate and the Second Amendment gun stickers. And then he left this like oil spill on my parking spot, right? It was like a red oil spill. I have never in my life investigated an oil spill. Not really. And this time I was down on my back. I was laying down, like checking it, like the fuck is this, right? With a flashlight. And the next day, and that was when I started making this necklace, which is like my most powerful necklace I've ever made. It's got quite an assembly of pieces. And I laid down on my back, and then like the next day I was putting on my necklace, and then Charlie Kirk got shot in the fucking neck. Charlie Kirk got shot and died. To the minute I was putting on a new necklace, right? And so I think it was like the creator took out my enemy. I didn't pay anyone to curse him. I didn't wish his destruction, but I was like, he's a problem, you know? And he was a problem. This is the number one problem with Christians, is they think God can talk and then they talk for him. The whole point of the Bible is God can speak. And because that's how the people who relay you the message heard it, is that God told me to tell you this. And so it's a basic fraud, is that if God can talk, let God talk. There's never been a mass in history where the pastor got up there and said, all right, now God takes the floor. And he just left and let the empty stage sit there for an hour, right? It's never happened, right? They do that sometimes, but they call it a meditation, right? There's never been a time when a pastor left and then God took the stage and God spoke, right? Never, ever, ever, ever. It's always the pastor goes on with what the book says. And so it's a basic fraud. And so Charlie Kirk went out there and he supported things that got kids shot. Like, I'm against the Second Amendment now. It's an amendment. You're going to let people die over something called an amendment? You're not going to stop the government with some guns. They have bulletproofs and explosives and tanks. If the government wanted to attack you, your guns wouldn't do anything. I do kind of like that the politicians have to keep their shit together, that they could get shot, because it means that they're going to be a lot less likely to do like outlandish shit if they're afraid they would die. They're going to try to make everyone happy if they're afraid of gunmen, I feel like. Donald Trump sending military to Portland. That's crazy. I've been to Portland. There's no reason to do that. Fucking weirdo. Portland's beautiful, especially around like the bridge area where, yeah, the bridge is over the water. Yeah, that's an incredible part of Portland. Really interesting. I've thought about living on a houseboat, like find some calm waters and live off solar. That'd be great. And build like some like nearly invincible fiberglass maybe boat that can take solar energy. And yeah, live out there on the sea. I wonder how wide your ship has to be to avoid like that rocking feeling. Probably needs a gyroscope. Yeah. It'd have to be probably a pretty long and flat barge to have enough solar to run everything, but it's possible to make like a big boat and live on a flotilla. Collect your own rainwater. Yeah, use solar distillation, solar light to boil water. That's possible. Magnifying lens cooks water and boils it. Yeah, it's possible. Leaves behind some good salt for seasoning. Yeah, the ocean, the surface probably has the freshest water. It is interesting that we have freshwater rivers and then a saltwater sea. Kind of cool. Yeah, but I bought a lot of new ingredients. Pretty interested, pretty happy, pretty excited. I do. My type of woman is intelligent, ultra gorgeous. I don't like, some people like humble girls or modest girls. They like girls with like character faces. I like girls that are like no makeup, ultra gorgeous. To me, it's like, why would you breed anybody else? You need them to be like really hot. But I also like some people are ass people. Some dudes are ass dudes. They want a huge ass. That's like their dream. Me, it can be a bubble butt. It can be like a little moderate bubble butt. Nothing bony, but like definitely it doesn't have to be like a humongous ass. But I do love huge tits. I think it's like freaking awesome. It's like your girl makes a snack. Oh, let's get rid of that. That's gross. Really? You'd eat milk? You'd eat milk from a cow, but not a woman? I can get it if she's not your woman. You don't know her and she's gross. Yeah, don't have milk from her, but she's gorgeous and she makes a fucking snack. You better make extra. That's how I feel. I think people getting like people. There's a movement to get rid of big tits and big dicks, and I'm like, that's the wrong direction. You should embrace big dicks and big tits. Like, you should not be like, no thanks. That's let's have some kids, but none of that dicks and tits stuff. That's crazy. That's how my parents were. That's crazy. That's literally insane. That's like a fucking problematic person. Hey, I'm gonna reproduce, but I don't like attractive people or hung people. It's like, you're what? So you're making people who suck? You're making a bunch of servants for the government is what you're making. People who won't threaten their bodies and their wives. Right? And a lot of people don't get that. They think it's like them and God. They have no idea they're living with like a secret ruling class. And that's like the secret that they just like hide from themselves. They go, la na 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 na, you're crazy, because they don't want to know. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I keep this on the lowest resolution. It's like 200 by 300. It's like you can put me on in the background and just listen, and that's actually probably a pretty good place for it. But like, because I'm not doing diagrams. Maybe you can get a little, if you want to look at my emotions, you could see like how I'm moving, but yeah, you don't need like a ton of detail. But I love this system up here. Everything above my head on magnets. It's a little noisy when going over bumpy terrain, but it's mostly freaking good. It's mostly freaking cool. It's really like efficient. So, yep. Um, yeah, my car was a little dead on the second start this morning, but so I've got a good jumper, which saves my butt. This thing, give the company some cred. Yeah, that's what I use, and it's smart to have. You do not want to be away from society without the ability to jump your car. Yeah, that shit sucks. That shit sucks. It was so funny. I was using cables before too. I was like, buy a portable USB. I think I was doing it before they had USB jumpers. Yeah, and then they just suddenly had them. No, it's a great innovation for sure. I'm mad about batteries. Nothing should have a battery you replace. Put a USB-C port on it. Yeah, put a USB-C port on it. I'd gladly pay you a couple bucks more for your product to have a USB-C port on it. Yeah, USB-C port and battery. So anyway, yeah, little weird dreams. The end was kind of bad. It was like I was searching for food. Me and this person I just met, this like female, I don't remember what she looked like. We're driving looking for food in like a smart car, a really tiny smart car. And it was like weird area. Never seen anything like it in my life, but it was like miles and miles and stops, like not one grocery store. It's like I was looking without aim or end for a place to buy food and like nothing came up. So, yeah. So yeah, I hope I don't have to replace my battery. It was doing a weird flicker show even after driving for a lot. I'm like, the fuck is this? I can jumpstart my car with a failed battery. You can drive with a failed battery. You cannot drive with a failed alternator. Yeah, the battery will drain and then it'll be dead. So if it's just the battery, I'm in luck. Yeah. It's kind of scary. Like freaking. It's definitely the battery because it wasn't working and then I jumped it and then it was working and it's like, duh. UV resin. This is my favorite type of UV resin. I've tried a couple products, a couple makers of UV resin. I think this stuff works really good. It's like called Cristal. No, it's Kisrol. Kisrol, not Cristal. It's Kisrol. I never said that right before ever in my life. Fast curing, no yellowing. It's true it doesn't yellow. I've left it in the sun, like Arizona sun, for like 4 months. It stayed pure white. Yeah, it's pretty good. So, yep, I use that and wax to seal it. I've got like this waterproof witch tapestry coming in. It's a cool witch tapestry though. There's like witches for Halloween, like the costume, like, you know, green skin and cauldrons, and there's that witch. This isn't that type of witch. This is like people who do witchcraft and understand what witchcraft is about made this, and it looks awesome. It's badass. It's not quite glow in the dark, but it is like water resistant, so I'm going to yeah, use it as my jar wrap for my future burial projects. So yeah, the time, like, this is the worst time to be alive. It's like when you're getting older and you haven't died yet. It's like just gonna take a nap. You know what I mean? Like, because people want like that sexy love and attention. And unless you got grandkids, if I had grandkids, let's say that I had actually met my soulmate and I actually had a bunch of kids. And if when I was 18, if I did that when I was 18 and then they had kids, so me, grandpa, what if I was successful with kids and then I had a bunch of grandkids? But the problem is that they would be circumcised and they would be slaves of the government. So I chose what I chose. I said, I don't trust them. Uh, and for good reason. Like, they actually, like, scammers like Donald Trump would definitely abuse and use. He runs beauty pageants and then he freaking faces Charlie Kirk's wife. Ugh. Yeah, don't let them give you a lot of the pedophiles have women on, like women in the pocket. They have women servants. Putin does too. I've had female Russian agents given to me, like gorgeous chicks with huge tits, but they're Russian, and it's like, I can't trust you. I don't know who you are, right? Um, and yeah, yeah. I do like blondes with like blue-green eyes. I do not like brown eyes. I will straight up stop talking to a girl because she's got brown eyes. I'm like, no offense. There's lots of guys that like brown eyes. Tons of guys that like brown eyes. Like, I wasn't comfortable with those opinions until I was a soldier, because there was just time and downtime when you're like deployed or anything. You're like, what do you like? Who's your like preferred girl, right? Who do you find hot? And they always go with like Salma Hayek, or like back in the day, or Shakira or some shit. And I would always like fairer girls, which is okay, because definitely not everyone gives that answer. Not everyone feels that way, but I do, so I'm fine with it. I don't have to like someone different or not like what I like so someone else is happy, right? So yeah, those girls who date like brown guys, those are traitors, because they know how it works. It's like, you have blonde hair and blue eyes, your kids are gonna be like a slightly lighter black, right? And it's like, if that's your dream, if that's what you like, that's fine. But it's like, in order for us to keep like blonde blue eyes until you have DNA editing, which we may have soon, you pretty much have to be like selective with who you breed with. Like, breed with someone who looks like that, right? If you want your kids to be blonde with blue eyes, you have to pick two light-skinned people. Like, I want to go lighter. I'm kind of a darky myself. When the universe gives me a dark-haired girl, right, I usually reject her. I go like, thanks, but no thanks. You know what I'm asking for, you know? Yeah, black hair on white skin looks really good. A great combination is like black hair on white skin with blue eyes is a really cool look. I think it's really cool. Like dark hair, light eyes. I think it's a cool look. But definitely like auburn or brown hair. Yeah, I don't really care. I really like extremely blonde. Not white, not yellow, but like the highest end of dirty blonde you can have. And not dyed. If it's dyed, it's not fair. And that's for having kids. That's like, who do you want your kids to look like? Definitely go on the fairer side. Totally fine if she has light hair and she dyes it black. I don't care about that at all. I think that's fair, but yeah, that's for breeding. You know, sex? Nah, I'll have sex with anyone. I don't give a fuck. But like reproduction, yeah, it's like a guy picks a girl to have sex with. He picks a small girl because she'll say his dick is huge. A guy picks a girl to be the mom of his kids. He's gonna pick a big woman because the kids will be big, and the kids will be strong and dominant. So yeah, just because you're passed up for sex doesn't mean you won't be passed up for breeding. But yeah, I'm definitely not with like people having kids just because it's what you do. You got to be a winner. You got to be like really hot and have some nice qualities to have kids, because otherwise you're freaking wasting everyone's time. So you shouldn't have kids unless people are begging you for it. You know what I mean? Does a lot of people want to be your mate? If so, yeah, you could have kids. It's definitely fame can fool people though. Like, is Billie Eilish really like more attractive than every other woman, or is she just famous? She's not famous, she paid for it. I've paid for it too. When I pay for fame, it looks great. And I get a lot of attention. I've had a lot of like social public critical attention from major people who matter because I paid to be famous. And that's all it is that the people who were routinely famous have like an addiction to it, and they're willing to do anything to have it. And then that's kind of like where they talk you into that. It's like, you want to be fame, don't give up, fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. What does fake it till you make it mean? Does it mean you'll pay them to look popular? Is that what that means? And then you'll make it. You faked it and then you made it. Woo! Right? Some people are mega entertained by that. They're like, wow. And other people are like me, are like, I don't care. If it was legit, if you had a legit social system where actual talents and actual skills and actual ability meant you would be selected and advanced, then I'd be very proud, right? I'd be very proud. But it's not that way. It's they want money, you know? It's like there's an algorithm. Not really. They'll ask for money and they won't tell you you paid. I've seen people with sponsored posts, right? It's like this person is like putting himself out there sponsored, and I was like, sponsored post. And then later on, when the sponsored tag drops, because they're no more funding it, right? The sponsored period goes for a period and then it drops. They'll come back and find my comment and go, question mark, question mark, question mark. What do you mean? Right? It's like, talk about like an egotistical douchebag. Yeah, I paid to look famous. And then when you caught me, I waited for the tag to disappear and went like, the fuck you talking about? Right? That's just like this scammy two-time and fucking nonsense. Win no matter what. That's how Donald Trump works. Donald Trump and his friends will just lie and lie and lie and lie because it's about winning. He doesn't care what the truth is. He wants to beat everybody, and he doesn't care what he has to do it. Donald Trump does things that he thinks are illegal for other people to do, right? So, yeah. It's one of the reasons I call it Trash Planet. It's like, they're just like, I'm like, that's who they're evolved to be. There's none of them here that are good, right? They're all twisted somehow. So, sad. It's definitely not what I wanted, but yeah. I hope if there is a soul, I do hope I get reborn in the Eternal Pleasure Body AI Spaceship Core. Yeah, I hope it's like, I get created with an eternal life here. You'll be an eternal being in bliss. And you'll have like real bliss, not their fake bliss. Some of their bliss is like fish bait. It's not real bliss. They won't ever give you that. They're going to ruin your life, right? You drink that communion wine, you'll be high for a day, but you'll never feel high again. That sort of thing. It's like a barbiturate or something. Is that, yeah, some drugs are like life enhancing, power enhancing, right? And other drugs are like fish hooks. They get in your head, they ruin your head, they'll make you an addict, right? You'll need more of it to feel okay, and if you don't get more of it, you'll be upset. So, yeah, it's a shame. The holiest of holies was a lie by pedophiles. That still got me disappointed. That's got me written them off forever. I don't want anything to do with them at all. They're just not my people. So, how's this for gray? These are genuinely gray and white, but just right there. Yeah, there's a little mixed in here. None in my top of my head. Top of my head is pretty much not great at all. Yeah. Yeah, some people do that. The hair on the face turns white, but the hair on top of their head stays dark. My hair on the top of my head used to be blonde. There's videos on this account with me having blonde hair. And it's like, as I got older, yeah, it went away a little bit. So, yeah, I protest circumcision, but they never say exactly why they did it. The other people who protest circumcision say it was, like for this or that reason, but it's really so that the real government can score virgin girlfriends. Is that you have people who want to have sex with a new virgin every night, and they don't want anyone else to touch them. And so you got cut because you're a slave, right? The money's printed at your debt and taxed. Elon Musk is not the richest person in the world. Elon Musk is the richest holder of US dollar, which is different than being actually rich. He's nowhere near actually rich. If you look at the land the king technically owns, he is one of the richer, and the richest would be the gold empire. Yeah, the people with the real treasure. The gold empire hoards gold against the rest of us and then claims there's less in circulation than there is so they can sell a bar back for millions. A bar, an amount of gold less than makes up my whole car in steel is worth millions upon millions of dollars. All intentionally. You got him. You got him. Yeah, I had a friend who killed himself. He used to like that joke. Got him. He was never a prankster. He was never getting people, like, you know what I mean? But he was sarcastically making fun of that attitude. Like, a real idiot betrays everybody with a scam. And then he celebrates later going, got him. It got him. Right? And it's like... Yarp. I remember his face saying Yarp. He fucking killed himself. He's kind of a genius. I do have a lot of respect for, like, what's his name? Kurt Cobain. He just got fucking tired of living, man. He was like, I'm done. I hate this. I was probably no shit to cigarettes. It's really hard to, like, catalyze some nice experiences while you're smoking. Yeah. I got some hot statues from I need to look. There's this dude in Asia who makes these really hot bronze statues, and as soon as he sells one, they're out of stock. Yeah, it's on Amazon, and it's like really cheap too. It's like $26. He never puts them back in stock, so it's like, yeah, it's like I'll be the first one. No one's reviewed it, and he always mails it out, and I always get it. I love them. I think they're really cool. I'm sure there'll be like a priceless collector one day, like a genius artist. Yeah, he's pretty good. He got the female arm proportions wrong on this one statue, though. I know some women are born with like a deep voice. Some women, like people are kind of like transy sometimes. There can even be, this is true too. There can even be someone who is like XY who has an XX body, or someone who has a, someone who is, who looks male, who is a female. They actually have XX, right? That's happened before. There's chimeras, people who have 2 genetic code. There's all sorts of interesting stuff. Like, as long as the form gets here and the form works, nature doesn't really care how it got there. It's like, so yeah, we're waiting for the shade to roll in. Yeah, I was going to go get a new battery today, but there's no reason if it's like, if I can jump my car and it's cool, no reason. This has been recharging long enough. 4 bars. Ava pow. No, it's good. It's a good, good recharger. I can't believe I used to do this without one of these. Oh man. It only happened like twice. I needed to jump and I was in a bad spot. I had to go for a hike and look for another camper. I was like, go up there begging. Metal and corrosion, yeah. Metal is almost perfect, but it gets old. The air will fucking bother it. It's like, what a fucking planet, man. Really, the air will ruin our metal? Come on, man. You can't be serious. How the fuck do I fit this in here? Like this? Yeah, like that. That's what it is. Perfect. But yeah. I've got a pack of 12 really cool, fancy, hardened jars. Yeah, they're said to be extremely durable. I think the mouth is big enough for an 8mm bead. It's said the mouth is big enough for, it's like 1.4 inches across. So is it big enough for an 8mm? Yeah, probably. No, it's not 1.4 inches across. It's fucking 1.4 centimeters across. So is the glass only 3mm thick? I hope so. Got to find out. I'm gonna open this in the parking lot and decide in the parking lot if I want to fucking keep it or send it back. So yeah, Amazon returns are super easy. I'm totally for it. Like getting rid of all the stores and just doing online distribution. Yep, do all your shopping online. Um, but yeah, definitely women normally have a high upper arm and a short forearm. Their upper arm is longer and their forearm is shorter for feeding a baby, so they can hold them like this, right? And a guy, the upper arm is shorter and the forearm is longer for leverage, so he can like fight and work. And so yeah, it's the backbone of society, men and women pairing to have kids. That's where we come from. Anyone like me who decides not to do it, it's gonna, not only will it like, it'll be uncomfortable. The person who decides not to breed no matter what will basically suffer a bit because of it. They're gonna feel unfulfilled. And but the good news is that there has to be like a really desperate reason that they didn't do it. Had to have been something really off. So yeah. Anyway. The size growth of Robert De Niro's ears. Yeah. That's a funny subject. Robert De Niro in his 20s had tiny ears, and then Robert De Niro old has giant ass ears. Yeah. I'm interested in people solving aging. Maybe like make it so you get to choose how old do you want to look, right? That would be cool. And then even take it further, like, do you want the holographic skin? Do you want the, maybe your nails will permanently change colors, right? Your eyes will permanently change colors. That'd be cool. Yeah, DNA editing. That's what they plan on using AI for, is DNA editing. So, it's pretty interesting stuff. I definitely support it. It's like, you almost have to try. It's like, are you just going to expect people to get old forever? Just everyone ages, everyone rots alive? Or are you going to try to fix it? Are you going to like give them a new option? Man, I used to feel so oily and shitty without bathing. I did. And now I feel amazing without bathing. I even look clean. I feel good. It's like, it's really, really weird. Yeah, the bathing all the time is a cult. It's like crazy people get to it. So yeah, I got a nice hotel tomorrow. I'm pretty excited for which room it'll be. I think it'll be ground floor this time, which is nice. Because last time I got a king, and the king is on the second floor, but the queen is on the bottom floor. So I got one of the queens, and I hope it's like a nice one. Hope I can get a parking spot in front of my room. That's really what I want. I want to look out and see my car. That's what I want. I just like that, you know. And yeah, the crystal. Yeah, the orange crystal came to me. It was the pictures of the orange crystals is a pure orange crystal, but mine came orange with a white bottom. I'm like, whoa, just like my dream. There's video evidence. That's what my dream was, right? It was like so weird. Yeah, last time I signed up for Uber Eats free, and they did they sent me, I got a whole meal, like this whole like southwestern salad from the place, which was really good. It had like goat cheese and corn and beans and like arugula and spinach. It was tasty. It was a good salad. And then I had a main entree. So I had that whole entree, which is normally like $11 free. And then I had a main entree. So I saved like, normally my delivery costs, I saved like $3 on it. But they ask you to tip at the rate of what both the meals cost. Yeah, if you get a meal for free, they still want you to pay that amount in a tip. So, yeah, I ended up tipping a bit more. This fucking weird Jew person showed up. I mean it. Weird Jew person showed up. He just like had like frazzled hair. He looked skinny, glasses, and he was such a fucking douchebag because he shows up from the far side of town. I would like put this order out there and he accepted it. And I'm like, dude, you live on the other side of town. What are you doing? And I had to wait for him to drive over and pick it up. I was like, what a fucking lazy asshole. This is mine. This order was promised to me 3,000 years ago. Fucking BS. Some fucking scamming. I am a circumcised person, trust me. I don't like Islam either. Any religion that cuts boys is my enemy. I hate them. Bunch of pedophiles. Sometimes I hear it. They go like, actually, if you don't cut boys, it means you're a pedophile. And it's like, no, good try. But no, you left the baby genitals alone. Not a pedo. Yeah, you fucked with those baby genitals. Pedophile, right? It's like the most demented thinking. They are demented. They think their creator can talk, and they make a career out of talking for him. And it's all a scam. It's just all a fucking scam. That's just how it is, you know? So, shame. Yeah, I did hear that when I was meditating, that it's like, you know, the voice I heard was like, you think you're cool. Old me is awesome. The old me, yeah, that I actually get like really fucking cool. I just realized some stuff, you know, gain some more. I'll probably be famous at some point. Everything I've said and done at some point will catalyze into some social recognition. They're saying Gen Z is shaking off sex. Gen Z doesn't want any sexual contact or anything. They're probably getting them at the education level. You should like being touched, and you should have hot people that you like touching. If you're alone in a bubble and nobody touches you and you don't touch anybody, you're a loser faking it. So, yeah. People who can't be touched have no business reproducing and leading, right? You should be able to touch and be touched. And yeah, you get married, you're a dog, you're an idiot. Yeah, I'd like to step into a legal agreement between me, a woman, and the government. You're a fucking moron. You got married? Oh man, don't do that. Don't do that. That is a mistake. That is a mistake. The dumb leading the blind, yeah. They think too that the worldliness is the non-religion. They have no idea that religion is the manifestation of ultimate worldliness. They think that religion beats worldliness somehow. No, no. So yeah, anyway. There we go. That fixed it. Yeah, I have a specific order I set these at. They can get a little tight. I've got a couple artificials. A lot of them are real. And then of course, the seashell one is animal made, but they're beautiful. They're really interesting stones. Yeah, I didn't have the dream of this orange crystal until I was like, I took all of my crystals off, and then I had a dream of an orange crystal, and I'm like, wow. So yeah, dreams are powerful, like manifesting. I've had that happen where like I see a person in my dream and then I meet them in real life the same day. So yeah, I've manifested so many girls, so many like hot bitches that I like. You know what I mean? And now it's time for like money and land. Get that dreamland, get that money. Because it's like, you have a hot bitch. That's the only reason guys like girls is to reproduce. I know they think, no, oh, it's about this or that. No, it's about reproduction. It's what it is. And so to do that effectively, you need a space to do it. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in having some land in an area that's not covered legally. I got no problem being the freaking warden of that place. You know what I mean? But like, should have like my hippy dippy wives get a fucking Amazon rural delivery service. Get a good like bus. Yeah, I'm not sticking with just one woman. I won't marry him, but I'm definitely gonna have like partners, you know what I mean? Like many of them. If you can't have birth outside a hospital, you should not have kids. Yeah. If you need a hospital to have birth, you're weak. You should be able to have a kid without a fucking hospital. You won't get circumcised, you're tagged. And if your kids, like my kids, if my kids are living in like isolation, you know what I mean? Like land, we bring in all our stuff, they probably won't get sick either. They'll probably not have problems with that. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if some of like the for kids packaging is like, or products made for kids have special chemical cocktails just for children. Like real traders, right? They told you about the word of God to cut your dicks. They would absolutely give you happy fun time and make it be a fucking torture poison. That's who they are. So yeah, it's sad. It's one of the reasons I did quit, is I just don't trust my society. Fucking monkeys. Vengeful, angry animals. That's who they are. So, it's sad. Literally the definition of sad. It's sad. It's very disappointing. Very heartbreaking. Yeah, XCOM 2 is sad. XCOM 2 is so fucking hard. Holy shit. On Iron mode, you can't reload a save on Iron mode. It's like if someone dies, it's it. They're permanently dead. You know, and that game is like, you're talking about a random map with a random spawn pattern with, you know, basically number math, right? I shoot at this thing. An 85% chance is not a guarantee. An 85% chance to hit is not a guarantee. So let's say you miss, and let's say they have a low chance to hit you, but they do anyway, and it crits, you're dead. That person should have lived. They should have gotten the shot, and the enemy should have missed, but they missed, and the enemy got the shot, and you fucking died. There's nothing you can do about it. It is kind of like real life, but yeah, the XCOM symbol is an alien head made out of human skulls. It's like pretty brutal. So, yep. One of the things I do like about the game is they have a ton of voices. They have like 6 different options per gender, per language. So there's a lot of like, you can have a multinational cast, and there's a lot of ways you can like listen to people talking in French or Spanish. French is tough. French does not have a lot of correlations with English. French is very foreign to English, and a lot of coupon, maybe croissant, like restaurant, you know. There's like, French is different to the democracies. Yeah, one of my ideas for holographic money is hyper-democracy. Like, remove the voting representatives and make it all online. So it's like, it's like, should we raise this as an issue? If you say yes, then, and enough people say yes, then an issue becomes up for vote, right? And if you raise an issue and most people say no, then it doesn't become an up for vote, right? Maybe it should be like 30% of the people need to say yes for it to be raised as a vote. Yeah. And then if the vote happens, then it becomes like, maybe don't call it law, maybe call it standard operating procedure. Law means you obey the words or you get punished. Which is like, do you want to volunteer for that? Yeah, someone's a danger and you have to segregate them. Sure. You can't let someone out because they're a fucking animal. Yeah, that's totally fine. You know, you're not punishing them. You're not trying to twist their arm, right? Someone always speeds. You could take away their right to drive. Maybe do it for a period. It's not punishing them. It's just, we can't let you drive because you're a menace. You make us all unsafe. So, yeah. Anyway, I've yapped on. Yeah, super democracy is something that I thought of in holographic money. I think it's a good idea. It's like, remove the voting representatives and just do it all online with your phone. Should be a hot vote. Oh, there's a vote today on this issue. This is what it is. This is how it works currently. This is how we propose it works. Do you want to do this, yay or nay? You know, and you hit yay or nay, and then you vote, and then that's it, right? It's like real voter ID, real online voter ID. Yeah, I love my state's ID system because it's good for like 25 years. Yeah, Arizona is the best place to get a driver's license. They'll let you use a funny address too. You don't really need to be a resident. You can just say you are. Yeah, they'll let you keep your driver's license for like 25 fucking years. It's insane. pretty good stuff. But yeah, actually, I don't gotta drink. Like, if you don't drink, if you're not drinking alcohol, like me, I got gray in my beard. They don't check my ID. They just say, yeah, he's good, you know. But if you're not drinking or buying weed, they don't really care, like, how old you are. Usually never comes up. So, yeah. Now, this has been a good year. We're finally in October. We left the September 10th. Charlie Kirk got shot. Fucking asshole. Right. The universe told me the day before he died that he would die. Like, the universe sent me a sign, right? So the universe sent me a sign with this crystal. This crystal had things written on it, right? And it was like the crystal in my dream was yellow and it had a like orange and it had a white body. It was like a clearly orange crystal, right? And I looked up orange crystals, and Amazon changed their button from yellow to orange that very day. The Amazon add to cart button is always yellow. And then the day I had my orange crystal dream, it turned orange. And then Venom, this streamer, put on an orange traffic cone that day. And when I was drinking, where is it? This stuff? I was drinking this stuff. I was like going like this when I was scrolling. And then Venom came up and she was drinking a bottle of this too. But the one with the guy on it. I got the one with the girl on it. She was drinking the one with the guy on it. So I feel like the universe was like, she and I, because I'm a legendary artist too. She's a great artist and I'm a legendary artist. Yeah, it's like beyond her being complexion wise something I might like. We are genetically likely to create super kids. Because I'm hottish, she's hot. But she's a legendary artist and so am I. We're both like god tier artists, right? People like bad stuff, like Taylor Swift. People like bad stuff. They don't like exceptionally good stuff. It threatens them, you know? And if you're like way, way, way better than they can conceive or copy, they're going to look past you and not really be into it. Because it threatens them. They can't copy it. If you won, they would have nothing. So they have to like, oh, well, yeah, but, you know. Onto the fire. Yep, so we got today and then we got tomorrow. This is nice. This is nice. It's a good morning. Yeah. I have so many games I've started. I'm in the middle of Cyberpunk. I just met Johnny Silverhands, and that's when I quit. I was like, I didn't hate it. I just like was like, that's intense. That's fucking intense. The game is intense. Cyberpunk, the Cyberpunk will take you through some intense ass scenes. Yeah, it's like definitely crazy. So I like my hat. This thing is cool. They don't make it anymore, so it's like unique. I get that a lot, like these glass bottles I'm going to be burying. I bet it's going to be like a limited print. No, it's so cool. Like my glass bottles will like crack. They're not perfect, and I finally found it. I was like, hardened glass, very difficult to break. I was like, oh, cool. That's actually way good. That might be an ocean one too, which I didn't really think of till now. Yeah, it's like, yeah, epoxy. It really is. If you want to do it right, you have to put it in a vacuum chamber to suck all the air out, because that thing will just always be releasing bubbles. Yeah. Maybe I could put my mouth on it and suck on it. Maybe that's the fucking option. But yeah, if you like use UV resin, you can't fill it with you can't fill it too dense, or you can't get the light in there, and so you have to like fill it with a layer, harden it, fill it with a layer, harden it, fill it with a layer, harden it, and then do it that way. But the problem is that if you're filling it, now the objects can't touch each other, right? They're not free in there together, which is an issue, right? So it's like, but if you were to put it in there with no fill, now it's not safe for the ocean. Now it'll it'll implode. If you throw it in the water, it'll fucking implode. Maybe a lake. Yeah, maybe it could tolerate 30 feet in a lake. Right? How many lakes are actively swung? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of lakes that don't get people in scuba gear. And people in scuba gear just don't visit it. It'd be once every 10 years, which might be good. So definitely it would be really cool if my objects are like taken and then put on a shelf. I think that would be a very high vibe. But yeah. My crystal technique is to guarantee a better life and better rebirth. No more of this like sworn to Jesus. Have you heard the Horace Heidt thing? So there's this famous person named Horace Heidt from the what do you call it? He did like a traveling band. Yeah, he did like a traveling band. He did a big band. He was like the origin of the Big Band Express. And he died the day I was born. My name is Height. His name is Height. You can say my name Height. That's possible. The letters are in the pronunciation. Many people call my name Height, right? And so Horace Heidt was a famous person and I was born in the same city he died in. And so there's this theory that I'm his reborn, that I'm his rebirth, that yeah, I'm literally the reincarnation of Horace Heidt. I've heard that from other people. So, which is pretty interesting. And so to me, if he came back in a Catholic household worshiping Jesus, then that would mean he asked for it. He made the Creator promise him he would get that. And if it's a hoax, if it's a rotten hoax, that means that's why I suffered. It's like, careful what you wish for, careful what you ask for. So what that forced me to do is it forced me to think more carefully about what I really want and what I really need. And what that did is the Eternal Pleasure Body AI Spaceship Core. That it's not like pleasure in a dumb way, like I felt too much bliss, I can't feel anything else. No, not like that, but like really like deep and interesting and permanent, like really loving it, right? And that the ability to make anything with the ship, the ability to make the ship into anything, and the ability to make anything. And that is kind of what I'm asking for. So I do not want Jesus again. I do not want God. I have found the Creator. I got nothing to do with him. It's the most permanent relationship ever. Who needs it, right? Who needs it, right? And so I'm like, yeah, I want to live forever for free. I want to have an eternal pleasure body in an AI spaceship, right? So that's kind of the goal. That's what's on the stamps. That's what's on the eternal life, is this idea that I'm going to live forever in a spaceship. I could handle one eternity, right? I could handle getting to be 1 billion years old. I could, right? Especially with some company and some stuff to do. Imagine I got so much time and so much stability. I want to read every book that's ever been written. I could do it. With 1 billion years, yes, I could become a master of every language and read every book that had ever been written. No doubt. Right? So, I think it's very interesting. But yeah, if I am the reincarnation of Horace Heidt, that'd mean I had 0 time between birth and death, right? That I had died, and that day I was being reborn. So, which is pretty interesting. So, definitely, it's like, do I want Jesus again? Do I want religion again? Horace Heidt, there's not much about him. He's like, he didn't interview a whole lot. I feel like he took credit for some songs he didn't do, which is interesting. But I do feel like he was like monumentally religious. He was like forced to be religious, and he had to. Oh, what's that mean? You know, he would ask questions instead of know things, right? Because religions teach you to be humble and ask questions, but the reality is that if you're really a man and grounded, you just know. You don't need to be told. You just know. So, yeah, it's possible that Horace Heidt reincarnated as me, a Catholic boy, because he wanted to be like Jesus, right? He wanted to have that like religious faith nonsense. And so by me asking different, I'm asking for like to be born in an eternal body that lives like an eternal pleasure body with a spaceship that takes care of me. Way clearer than I want to be a servant of Jesus again, because that got me circumcised. That got me suffering like Christ suffered, which was honestly no good, right? And the promise of heaven is probably no good. So it's a lot better to say that you want to live forever for free, right? So yeah, that's what I'm choosing, is the eternal pleasure body AI spaceship core. And I'm saying that like asking the creator, yeah, let me have that. Let me live forever in like a perfect form that can be modified to my desires. And a ship to let me explore everything, right? And I think that'd be pretty cool. I think that'd be pretty freaking cool. Yeah. Especially if the ship can make company. Ooh. The ship understands the life code of the DNA of my species, and let's say I want a harem, it can be like, I can make that for you. A lot better than taking one of us and forcing one of us to do it. Especially if it like cuts out the DNA it doesn't need, like, yeah, that'd be fun. Anyway, yeah, the idea that I'm Horace Heidt, pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. So yeah, in order for me to have the eternal pleasure body AI spaceship core, I have to be fine with other people having it, and I have to give a practical means to achieve it. So I've given both. Yeah. If I'm not famous now, one day people will be like, oh, this guy, what the hell? You all seen this? All it really takes is for one person who's paying to win to take interest in me. Is it? All it takes is for me to pay to win. Put together 10 grand and put together a short project and pay the fucking publisher. Everyone would know my face. Yeah. But if people have you destined to be the modest, humble slaves, if they use you to appear as gods, right? If they want to be a god and they need someone who's not a god so they look like a god, then you and your kids are doomed, right? If I want to be the best ever, then what that requires is that everyone else is not the best ever, right? Isn't that logical? So if the other people are not the best ever, then you're all going to be suffering. Then it's always going to make a lower loser class, right? You're going to have ugly people making kids who are ugly people whose only purpose is to do all the work. And the real ruling class is not going to timeshare. They're going to say, I'm a god, you're a slave, that's your place, right? And they're going to leave you there, right? So in order to break that cycle, you have to like transcend the level. I'm not a nihilist. It's not, erase existence, but I am more of a you have to make something better to have something better person, Thanks to whoever made my crystal. Appreciate it. Yeah, it was orange with the white bottom, and that's what I got. So, super fascinating. Super cool. I can't wait. I am getting a nice hotel tomorrow. A great hotel tomorrow. And I will be... Oh, man, that is a short-ass cable. There we go, this one. What's up, birds? Yeah, I'll feed them when I leave. I'll leave them a big thing of sunflower seeds. Fucking bird squawking at me. I murdered a bird. It was squawking at me and just like a rude asshole. Like, okay, so I lay down seeds, right, for creatures to have it. He comes up right above me and starts yelling at me. And then I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude. Take some seeds or leave. What are you doing? He sees seeds and then he sees danger. And he's like, I'm going to let the whole forest know there's danger. And I'm like, could you not? There's really not any danger. And then he gets on this log. And as he's on this log, he starts screeching into a gopher hole. He's like yelling at the other creatures. He knows what it is. They're seeds. Stay the fuck away. That's what he's saying. These are my seeds. You'll learn. Right? And so I blasted him. And he like did this like bounce. And then he fell over. And he was like chirping on the ground, like twitching. You know what I mean? Like definitely I hit a part of his body that's never been touched. And he was short-circuiting. And then I got over him and I gave him the final blow. And he passed. And then I put his body in the pyre and I burned it. But first the chipmunks stole his feathers. Yeah, the chipmunks came up. They ripped all his feathers out for stuffing for their nests. Which is kind of funny. So, yeah, fucking bird. But since I did that, they've been quiet. Not the crows, not the ravens, not his species, not another species. The woodpeckers are still a little noisy, but I don't care. I'm not mad about that. To me, he was being a jerk. Maybe, am I a serial killer like Dexter? I'm not, but I could have been. I would absolutely leave most people alone, except for people that are like a caustic problem to a society. Like, obviously, they're a detrimental issue. You can't let them go on, or a lot of beings would suffer. Yeah, I would totally take someone out without thinking. Wouldn't even feel bad. And be like, that had to happen. Yeah, if you watch the news, it makes it look like every wrong gets punished. But the reality is that most of the things that happen, they don't even know about. And that they know very little, right? So, yeah. I would never hurt most of these critters are innocent. They don't fight each other. They're just trying to survive. They got my protection. But, some of them are assholes. They don't need to do all that extra stuff, and they are, so gotta stop them. Just like the government. I'm coming for the government. The real government is Super Pedo Island and the Gold Empire. The real government likes girls and lied about God to cut baby cocks. I'm coming for them. I'm coming for them. I'm going to get them. I stamp money. I stamp postcards. I let people know this. It's on the back of my freaking car. Right? I let people know this. Because if I hate being circumcised, guaranteed there's other people who hate being circumcised. And my point is to get all the circumcised looking for the real government. Drop this God story. Drop this chosen one story. Start realizing men cut you to rape girls. And those men who cut you still run the world. Right? That could be a very powerful social movement. And if I read it right, it'll be the first time it ever happened. If I read it right, this government has hidden and lied and obscured what was really going on for so long, it'll be the first time it's ever been done. So it's worth doing. You hear them bring their plane up? They were spying on me, but the moment I start talking about it, they're like, buzz them, make them afraid of the noise. I know how they think. You're a bunch of pedo trash. They are a bunch of pedo trash. Anyone who does what the government wants is a pedophile. I didn't want that. That's what they did, right? It's like the people who are pro-vegan are not guilty of eating meat, right? The people who are anti-pedophile are not guilty of doing pedo horse shit, but it's what happened, right? The reason we have veganism is that people eat animals. I'm fine with vegetarian. Chickens lay eggs like mad. Cows make a ton of milk. A milk cow is usually only hooked up to the sucker like once a day for like 10 minutes. That's not so bad. That's not so bad. You know. So, yeah, eventually be vegan, eventually turn pure energy into matter, right? We want food, we can actually make objects and food out of energy, right? Like exactly like the replicator. We thought the cell phone would be impossible. Star Trek had data pads that were ultra thin that they could tap on, and I was like, no way they'll ever do that. They did that. So could they get to the point that they make food out of energy? The whole restaurant and the bar is like a microwave-sized cubby where you tell it what it wants and it comes out of it. Especially with AI. Yeah, could happen. So that's where we would go. So yeah, that's to me when veganism would be totally possible, is when every steak comes out of a freaking a replicator. So, but until then, vegetarianism is wise because eggs have a lot of energy and cow's milk is like really powerful. I'm vegetarian, not vegan. Yeah, you shouldn't be slaughtering animals. It's mean. But what else are we going to eat? We only invented planes 100 years ago. Corn is great. I love corn, but I love corn with butter. Right? So, yeah, the cows should have a happy life. The cows should have the ability to lay down and like play and do all this fun stuff between when they're being milked, for sure. Totally down with like genetically altering them so it's like they produce milk all year round and not just when they have a calf. I'm a part of big udders. I think it's like they should have huge ass udders and you should just make their legs stronger. Anyway, I've yapped on. That's what I think. Yeah. We will be vegan eventually when we can turn energy into food. But until then, it's kind of wise to keep things like, eggs and milk, because it's kind of an efficient energy source, highly popular. Steak, I don't know. I love quinoa and greens. I love quinoa and greens. I think that stuff is so good. But yeah. No, there should be a basic tier where people can live free, right? And then the people who actually work should be paid like good, right? And then this idea that like the owner is a millionaire, nah. The owner can be kind of rich. The owner shouldn't make more than 10 times what the lowest employee makes. You can have a progressive pay scale between, 10,000 a year and 100,000 a year. That's plenty of room to have a progressive pay scale. You don't need to have the owner making 8 million a year while the poorest paid employee makes 20,000. You don't need that, right? You can have 10x be the limit. Yeah. You want to make $4 million a year, your lowest employee better be paid 400,000. So if you can only pay your lowest employee 38,000, you can make 380,000. So 380,000 would be such a crazy amount of money. You could buy any $1 million house and pay it off within the mortgage. And have a nice car at the same time. What more do you need? Right? So yeah, I support my system holographic money. I think it's the best new idea you've had. And I support it with no money. I don't use any God dollars to back it. So it's a little hard getting word out. But I still believe holographic money. Horace Heidt, if he wasn't a scammer, was a person who ran like a big business for everyone, right? He was kind of a leader, right? So this is me like doing that leadership thing again. If I can, it'd be holographic money. It's the best idea. Put our lives on the cash, take care of security. No more hidden, tortured people, no more secrets. The AI will tell anything to anyone, right? Let the AI see it all and tell all to anyone. And then when our lives are on the money, it'll make action money. It'll be like people will want to do things because they'll have cool money. Pay kids. The people who want us to breed more will be happier with holographic because kids will get paid. So a parent will no longer need to be like, what am I going to do with this kid? I need child support. I need this stuff. No. The kid gets paid directly. It will be kind of shameful if you grow up and you don't have any money anymore. Your parents made you spend yours. It'd be like, you would definitely be a rich kid if every holographic dollar you got was saved. And then you would be able to buy like a nice spot auction. You'd be able to win. Yeah, that's the new outvented in holographic money isn't the tax, it's the spot auction. So anything like a spaceship seat, land, again, like anything that's like really limited, not food, but like anything that's really limited, like there's only one space that can have gets ate up by a spot auction where the highest bidding person loses their money forever and the money goes out of circulation, right? And so it's taxes doesn't remove money from circulation. Taxes takes the money and puts it back in circulation. That's why you have inflation. And so holographic money has a spot auction, which permanently removes money from circulation. But these people have to argue for it. When I was a kid, we had a rancher nearby who had horses, and they built this wooden overhang for the horses, and the horses ate the goddamn wood. Yeah. The horses stood out in the sun and they ate the wood and the shelter collapsed. So you got to treat people like they're that dumb, you know. It's like, hey, you could have holographic money. No, thanks. I like circumcising my son and using money printed at my debt and taxed. That's way better, right? I don't want money if you can just have it for free. I'd rather work for it. Okay? Go fucking put the fries in the bag then, you know? So, yeah, they're pretty fucking stupid. I mean it. Like, it's unfortunate. It's like, hey, you could have something nice. Nah, let's not have anything nice. Let's have the really shitty thing that we know doesn't work. I prefer the scam, right? That's how they are. They're fucking dumb. So, I gave you a good idea because it's smart. You can like it if you like it, but probably won't. Got this dude on Facebook accusing me of being a liberal and a Democrat. I'm like, I'm not a liberal or a Democrat. Maybe there was a time when I was younger where I thought that way, but I've also had an equal amount of time saying I was a Republican. My current ideas are discontinuous with the Democrat and Republican. I can't be called a Democrat or a Republican. I believe the country is a slave hoax. I think Democrat and Republican is a divide and conquer strategy. How am I a liberal? How am I a Democrat? But he's still trying. It's been going on for days. It's like, nah, you're really a liberal. I can tell him when I see him. I was like, he's holding this like little fish he caught. He caught this tiny fish and he's like holding it. And I was like, okay. Nah, it's been going on for a couple days and telling me I'm a Democrat secretly. I was like, nope. And he's just doubling down. Like, I know it. I know he is. You know, you all take 10 hours to draw a single photo. I'm the holographic speed painter guy. I'm going to go ahead and take some liberties and just say I'm smarter than you. Yeah. I don't need to put myself and think of their opinions. Nah, I don't think of their opinions. I think they're dumb. I think they aren't smart enough to do it correctly. I think the reason their space program is kerosene is because they don't know how to actually make something that can fly. So I think the reason that they have to burn oil for energy is that the better ideas, there are better ideas already out there in like stable form, but they just like, they can't get it, right? I've got this sticker on the back of my car that came from this pack. It says, no, you're right. We're going to do it the dumbest way possible because it's easier for you. Right. And that's what it is that you got to do it the fucking stupid way because they don't. How do we light it on fire and make it explode? That's the best they got. We need some explosive gas because all that other stuff was gobbledygook. That's fine. That's a man. That's a woman. But anyway, yeah. No, my crystal prophecy was crazy true. It was. I like, this is an orange crystal online. And the crystal in my dream had a white bottom, and they sent me one with a white bottom. So, which is really cool. It's a little small, though. I did get the bigger one. The bigger one is on the way. It's like, this doesn't look like the right size as in the dream. It looked like it was a little bit longer. So, it's nice, though. Orange selenite. Yeah, I've got a bunch of orange crystals coming in. I just like, for the longest time, I said I hated orange. I was like, for the longest time, I said I hated orange, right? It was like, I didn't like orange. I don't know why. They made Naruto orange. Um, but yeah, now I'm like open to orange again. I'm eating carrots. That's right. Yeah, before I had the dream of that thing, I was eating carrots again and loving it. Carrots are good. So it's like super weird that it's like I'm in the orange cycle of my life, which is cool. See, I do have some things to burn. I've got a few things that have God written on it that I have to purge, and I'm gonna do that. So, um, yeah, I gotta incinerate some stuff. It'll leave a few like steel talismans behind, but for the most part, this stuff needs to be melted. Bringing bad luck on me. See, if we call the Creator God, but God is not his real name. It's like you. It's such a weird idea. It's like where's your driver's license, right? The Creator doesn't have a driver's license, right? Why would the Creator be named God if names are our business, right? It's a bit of a conundrum. So yeah, God almost exclusively refers to a cult, a liar cult. So unfortunately, I've used the word God in my magic before, but I have to burn it. I considered that the English language is corrupted, so I use my speed painting instead of words, right? I use my own authorship to get what I want done. Yeah, winners and losers. If I was born in the richest family on earth, would I resist poisoning the poor and abducting girlfriends to private harems? Probably not. You know, it seems like it might be like that's just a part of the rich and the poor. The poor have nothing and lose it all, and the rich have everything and gain it all. And that's kind of like, that's the, how happy did you make God last time? How pleased was the Creator with you the last time you were alive? If there was another time, right? I could be discontinuous with Horace Heidt. Horace Heidt could be another man, and maybe I was born, just a coincidence that I was born the day he died in like the same hospital, right? It's interesting, but yeah, to me it makes sense that he launched a prayer before he died that he wanted to have Jesus and he wanted to know Christ and he wanted to be like close to God. And so I got given like dark Catholicism, like this, like you asked to be fucked up. You asked, you didn't know living your whole life that it was fake, which is really shameful that there's a lot of people who live their whole lives and they still think it might be real. They haven't found out the truth. And they accuse me of not doing their homework, right? It's like, well, you don't believe in Christ because you haven't bothered praying before. Not true, right? Um, you believe in Christ because you haven't had an out-of-body experience before. You had dreams and things that were close, but you were never like looking around in another place with the Creator himself right there, right? So, yeah. I got to ask, oh, this is one of the things the Creator said to me that I forgot about that I wanted to share earlier was, you don't admit how bad you feel. That's one of the things the Creator said, is that you're too optimistic and you're not actually in touch with how horrible you feel, which is one of the things the Creator said, which is really true. I was circumcised. I had worms. I was exhausted, depressed, like really a lot of problems. And so the Creator was like, you should get in touch with how bad you feel. And it's true because those negative emotions have information in it. Those negative emotions are teachers. They convey information. right? So, yeah, if my car starts this time, it's not the battery. If my car is dead, it's the battery. The battery has fucking gone off. It's gone off. So, anyway, I'm going to focus again on, like, some of my, like, manifestations. And focusing more on meditating. So I hope you all have great futures. I really do. I hope you figure out the Eternal Pleasure Body AI Spaceship Core. I hope every new person lives forever and they have a home that grows with them and takes care of their waste and food. I hope that's who you are. So, makers and keepers. We are the makers. We make the keepers. The keepers live forever and get it all. They get all the benefits of all the hard work we do, but the makers have to do the hard work. And the makers have the context of, like, hell. I kind of remember that in my soul's memory. Like, I was a keeper before. I was made a keeper. And I remember, like, I wanted to be a maker because I was like, what was that? Who are the makers? And it's like, they're not gods. You know, they're suffering beings who rose out of the mud through trial, right? And they created the keepers out of love, in contrast to what it was like to be a maker. Is that the makers said, I toil, I get old, I suffer. These are horrible situations. And so the keepers should be elevated from those situations. The keepers should enjoy their life, not have to work hard. They can. A keeper wants to dedicate their life to something. Yeah, they should be able to do that. You want to work? Totally fine. Go work at something, you know? But you have to work to survive. That's maybe not. You can take a nap. You know, you can take a nap and tomorrow you'll have as much as you want. Right? So it's all about understanding that, like, easy energy and objects from energy. When you have those two, when you have people who live forever and you have a great AI, and then you have easy energy and objects from energy, like how to generate a large amount of power simply, and then how to turn that power into stuff. And what I would say is there's probably techniques that don't appear in nature. Modeling and copying the sun is a guess. You should study techniques from non-physical intelligence for making objects and energy from nowhere. Yeah. I reward people who watch my stuff. If you really do watch my stuff, I will kind of ramble, but I will get to points that are worth it. Yeah. If you watch my stuff, I will say things that are worth it. So, but yeah. Anyway, we're about to find out if my battery's dead or not. If it doesn't start, the battery is just not holding a charge. It'll run nonstop. So it's not the alternator. But I mean that my battery killed itself, which is fine, that happens. Gosh, to people who process and make batteries, thank you. Our society takes so many fucking workers. Every little widget and nidget and thing has a fucking employee behind it who spends all their time. That's what they do, right? So I am very interested in, like, increasing efficiency. Fewer people do more things for more people and they're rewarded more, right? Less overlap, less competition, more like high IQ smarts. Like, do you need an alkaline battery? What's happening with that massive amount of lithium we found in the US, right? So really answering that. So anyway, beautiful crystal, the white bottom. Yeah, I have another one coming in, so loved it. has Eugenia Cooney come back? Her dog died in July. And then she like disappeared. She hasn't posted anything. And then I think Jeffree Star said she's finally admitted she was sick. People could see the tendons through her palm. Yeah, poor girl was like fucking suffering. That's gotta suck. Yeah. They banned me for saying things like Fat Eugenia 2026. I got fucking banned for that. They fucking, the Asians protect anorexia like hella hardcore because they do those weight tests. Japanese citizens have to weigh a certain amount. They can't weigh more. And it's like, they're really unhealthy. Yeah, you can be an unhealthy anorexic. Your ancestors starved. You need to be a twig. Can't you just be like, oh, I'm fat because my ancestors would have wanted that? My ancestors were skinny their whole lives and they thought fat people looked cool. Like, how'd you have that much to eat? That's not possible on berries, right? I have to hike 4 miles to get a fucking berry bush. Yeah, you're going to be skinny. You're going to be hungry all the time. So anyway, yeah, the shooting starting. I got to move to stay in the shade, so I'm going to cut this episode short tonight. 2 hours. Pretty interesting vlog, revealing the Horace Heidt stuff, yeah. If people don't have the time to watch what I have to say, at least AI will be able to watch it all. Maybe task an AI with watching every single minute of what I've done. Give them the highlights. Yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm a good person or a bad person. I definitely see the balance. Like, those birds were getting abusive. Some of these birds were getting to be abusive assholes, and shooting one of them cleared the air and made all the other critters, like, gave them a lot of room. It got quieter, you know. Yeah, I'm not out there killing all the animals, but that one had to die, and it made things better. So I'm definitely more of a balance of darkness and light. You know, you can't give a gift to a person who doesn't deserve it, right? Somebody is like not nice, not your friend, not kind. You can't tell them a compliment. You can't give them anything if they're that way to you, because it's not appropriate, right? So it is, there's like, yeah, there's good and bad to us. And, you know, some teachings are like, reject the good, go for the bad, which is not the right idea. You should definitely embrace the good and reject the bad. The reason you hate bad things is a good reason, you know, and the reason you like good things is a good reason. You shouldn't do like Pema Chodron, where she's like, bring in the bad and let go the good. You should definitely like trust your natural reactions to what you hate and love. But yeah, it definitely takes darkness and light, you know. Just like, I'm just gonna go for the light, you'll be imbalanced. You don't understand who you are, right? You have darkness and light. Yeah, you're all dark, you're a monster. Nobody likes you, you know. A good balance of dark and light is necessary. So yeah, I'm definitely more of a mixed philosopher. I've got sides that are good and sides that are definitely evil, but I keep it in balance. So yeah, I definitely don't believe in balance. I'm not a worshiper of balance. I'm not like balance over everything, because a lot of these trees like sit at an angle. They've got branches in uneven directions, you know. They're just fucking... Pine is weird. Pine trees are clones allegedly, but they're not. Like, there's a lot of pines that do their own like unique funny thing that none other do, which is interesting. So yeah, I did learn my lesson though. I used to chop these pines. I used to come out here enraged with a sword and like attack them, every strike I ever did against a pine still bears that strike today. So it's kind of like something to think about the permanence of destruction. Oh. But yeah, anyway, I've yapped enough. I got a new side opening, zipper opening duffel bag for all my bulk rocks. And I'm gonna slim down. I've been keeping all these like fucking crystals in cardboard boxes that have fallen apart. And so I gotta like take all that out. So yeah, we're gonna have a new way to package and store them, which I'm excited about. We needed that. And then I've got a lot of jars on the way. So what I've got to do is I've got to take a good hike, wait till it rains, and go on a big hike. Yeah, dig a big ass hole somewhere. Get this shit buried. Yeah, if I'm really crazy, I could go 8 feet down, but that's a lot of work. You want to dig 8 feet? Man. Yeah, that might save your object from ever being found, but that's a lot of work. An 8-foot hole? Woo! That ain't easy. That's why it's like dropping it in the water is preferred. It's like it'll take it far away from where people go pretty easily, but there's concerns like pressure. Will the pressure freaking smash it? That's really the only concern, preventing it from being pressure smashed. So I really think like filling it with resin might save it. It's one big thick airless block of resin inside. Yeah, it may just like it may survive the compression. So bottle it at 7,000 feet and then take it and drop it in the ocean. Yeah, that's gonna be bad. No, I'm high altitude. I'm high altitude. So people down at California level don't know. If people who lived in California their whole life came up here, they'd be gasping. They'd be like, I can't fucking breathe. Yeah. I can breathe great because I had years of, I was a champion swimmer, I was a soldier, and I did smoke for a long time. So now I'm like off of smoking, but I still got the barrel chest. So yeah, I got pretty good air capacity. Yeah, I grew up at a high altitude and I went to basic training at a low altitude at sea level. And I got tired on the runs. My body was physically exhausted, but I was not out of breath. Yeah, I hit the limits my limbs would go, but I was not, shall we say, winded. Yeah, I had plenty of air. So yeah, that training thing is true. You want to train for some you want to train for a freaking event, go to super high altitude. Yeah, go to super high altitude for weeks and months before and train like you normally train up there gasping. And then when the game day comes, you're going to be a monster, unable to be exhausted. So, but the opposite could happen. The high altitude could ruin your training, right? We can't train that hard because we're all tired. Who knows? But they do that. They go to high altitude to train. Anyway, I've yapped on and on and on. I'm going to upload this now. Thanks, YouTube, for hosting all my stuff. I appreciate it. I'm leaving it for history. I hope you keep it for history, like I said. my thoughts about everything. I try to be a historian. Some historians know history, other historians write history. They'll say what they know or think has happened. It's always an opinion, you know. Were they there? Did they witness it? If not, they're using hearsay, right? They're freaking reporting what was told, which is useful, but it's not like proof. Birds. Yeah, all these birds got to be good about flying between trees. Branch avoidance. Here comes Squawk Box. They've been quiet. No, I shot one of their kind and left them up as a trophy for all of them to see. They're dead quiet now. They're like, oh no. Hey, crucifixions work. They made crucifixion God's method, so you got over the government doing that to everyone. I think the real government is still Rome. I still think it's like, because of the power of the Vatican, they're tied with circumcision. And there's this Roman dude with like a dick to his fucking, like, almost his legs. It's like his dick is like, I think it's like 17 inches long or something like that. And he said it just started growing one day and never stopped. And so that's like indicative of the government, is that the government's slaves are cut and cucked. And the government itself wants to be uber hung because it's about fucking bitches. So most babies are 10 inches long, you know. A baby is 10 inches long. A baby is huge, right? You're telling me your dick can't be huge? You're telling me a 10-inch by 4-inch baby can pass through a vagina, but a fucking 5-inch by 1-inch dick is the biggest it can be. I'm like, you're a liar. You're lying, right? Is they cut your dicks off and they don't want you to know. It's really like, where do guys make stupid, thoughtless decisions that are betraying to other men over women? Absolutely. Men will betray women. Well, men will betray other men stupidly over women. Like, just right in your face. Like, I didn't do that. They did do that. Right? And so that's what it is. That's why it's like, God says, get your kids circumcised, as the real government likes girls. They don't want anyone else out there with a cock, because it grosses them out. How are the winners going to have sex all day if every poor boy has a dick? Cut his dick off. He doesn't know what to do with it. Rich people always do that. They go like, oh yeah, poor people, don't give them any money. They don't even know what to do with it. They don't know what that's for, right? He's like suffering and poor, and he's like, yeah, you don't need a penny because you wouldn't even know what to do with it. Really ego, really greedy. Really, people like Donald Trump. Like, Donald Trump complains about the law being used unfairly against people, and then he has done 7,000 lawsuits in his life. Donald Trump has sued people like 7,000, it might be 5,000, but it's like 7,000 times. And so he's just like this like greedy, like, nope, we're suing him. File the papers, right? Donald Trump's legal fees, like just from paperwork, is in the millions of dollars. So, and then he turns around and complains about the time they tried to get him in trouble. What a douchebag. Donald Trump is like I wasn't sure who he was until recently, but now I just see, yeah, he's just an absolutely corrupt asshole. Like, he will avoid legal consequences for what he does, and then he'll turn around and sue everybody. Like, just a fucking, like, a little mongrel. The funniest thing about him is that he keeps drinking Coke and eating fucking McDonald's, and it's clearly killing him. It's clearly killing him. I can't wait for him to die. I hope he dies in office. That'll be, like, historical. That kid who missed shooting him must feel like fucking crap. Dude, you missed the shot? What a fucking idiot. Zero your goddamn weapon, fool. You can't just like put a scope on a rifle and hit. You gotta freaking zero it. Leave it to the hunter. Yeah, freaking Tyler Robinson was a hunter. I said that. I said that before we knew he was a hunter. I was like, he's a hunter, because a military person would put 2 in the chest, 1 in the head. A military person will snipe you in the head. A hunter bleeds them out, right? Hunters know bleeding shots, and so he shot his neck to bleed him out. That's a skilled hunter. That's somebody who's shot deer at that distance before. So, yeah, the kid who tried to shoot Donald Trump was like a noob. He was just an idiot. He didn't know how to shoot. So, but yeah, Donald Trump is a horrible person. He's a pedophile who is everything he says he hates, right? Everything Donald Trump says he hates, he is. And he just blows up boats without knowing they're carrying drugs. We saw a boat from Venezuela and blew it up. It's happened multiple times. They don't even know if it's a drug boat. They just like bomb boats. They don't even know what they are. So, yeah, it sucks. New York's biggest landlord. You had a freaking legal prosecutor. Kamala Harris was a legal prosecutor versus New York's biggest landlord. And it's like, capitalism stinks. Y'all are besmitten with the fucking hoaxes. Y'all love the bullshit. You love the bullshit. You just smother it on your face, right? You want to smell like bullshit. Yeah, it sucks. The only reason I'm not a Democrat is clearly, Bill Clinton was also a pedophile. The Democrats absolutely looked the other way for Bill Clinton going to Jeffrey Island. Absolutely did not care. The Democrats only cared now because it's a Republican. It's the only reason they give a shit now. They're all asking for Donald Trump Epstein files. Nobody's harassing Bill Clinton. Last I saw, Bill Clinton still has speaking opportunities and he gets clapped for. They don't give a fuck. They only give a fuck about Donald because he's a Republican. So I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I think they're both shit. I think Bernie Sanders is shit. Bernie Sanders has mansions. Bernie Sanders owns mansions. Bernie Sanders supports circumcision. You're not going to get shit by taxing the rich. Money does not come from taxes, which he won't say. He just we're going to raise the taxes. He's just a bullshitter. Bernie Sanders is maximum bullshit. He's a fucking fraud. Yeah. The way he opens up his lower jaw, he shows you his like lower jaw. Yeah, he's just like he's a fraud. Big greedy worm rat in Congress pretending to be the voice of the people. Yeah, Bernie Sanders is fucking bad. And holographic money is such a great idea, but how many people are willing to leave Democrat and Republican to support it? It's like it doesn't even exist. It's like, not that. I prefer my money printed at my debt and taxed and covered with slavery and genital mutilation symbols. Because I'm an idiot, right? Nobody can question that shit. So yeah, I stamp money. I stamp money with things like, fuck you, pedo trash. Yeah. I think y'all are fucking stupid. I do think you all are stupid. Literally. If you celebrate Christmas and vote, you clearly have no idea what's happening. You're lost. You circumcised my kid. You circumcised your kids, and then you show up to tell all the anti-circumcision people they're pedophiles. You're like, oh, got him. Got him. Got him. So, yeah. I wish life was something nice, but they were all out of that when I was born. When I was born, they were fresh out of good times. Why even have kids? I made a kid so I could cut him and beat him because that's what my dad did to me. And it's like, you're a slave. Nah, I'm not a slave. I can go wherever I want. Yeah, on the surface. You can't go into private property, dumbass. All the real shit's hidden in private property. No trespassing sign and some fucking guards. You can't go there. You can hang out with the fucking squirrels.